What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Make It or Break It Monday, the show that helps you get your head right so you can start your week right. So I have a question for you guys. Is your head right this morning? Just pause for a second. Is your head right this morning? Yes or no? Because this is the show that helps you get your head right so you can start your week right. Obviously, if you can win your Monday, definitely helps you. It's that big first step to be able to win your week. But seriously, is your head right this morning? Like, what happened this morning? Why did it happen? How did it happen? Is this something that just happened today? Is this something that happens all the time? Because that's a habit. But is your head right now? And what are you gonna do about it? Because I've been thinking about this, but we are unfinished people with an unfinished story. And that's kind of crazy, kind of scary, a little depressing, but pretty cool at the same time. Because we're all roughly born with and equipped the same way, and the decisions that we make dictate what happens next in the story. Because, let me tell you, some people decide they're finished at 23, other people decide they're finished at 47, maybe 86, or hopefully never. But we are unfinished people with an unfinished story. And that's how it is. We make choices to decide what happens next. And you gotta think about what's unfinished in your life, what's unfinished in your family's lives, and are you on pace to be able to get there? In a lot of areas, there's probably some things sitting in the corner that are all dusty and we haven't thought about in years. It's the same thing for all of us. But we have to think, why is that actually unfinished? And even if it's unfinished with you or unfinished with others, both of those things affect your story. If it's someone else's unfinished story where they're not fulfilled, you gotta think that it's gonna affect you in that way or at least bring you down. But when you love someone, you care about what they care about. Exactly why this Christmas tree behind me is up. Too soon for some people? Maybe. But in my house, November, beginning of November, Christmas tree is always up because my wife loves it. And I'll tell you, the holidays are not the same without her and her energy and her excitement. And to be able to get that tree up though, you gotta be able to think like, hey, there's probably a couple things that have to happen. First thing is, you gotta tell someone about it. And believe me, my wife's been talking about it for like 45 days now, it feels like. First day of fall, I swear. And it's exciting because she's excited about it. And you have to speak it into the world if you want it to happen. We were over at our neighbor's for Halloween night, and she was just talking about how excited she was to put her Christmas tree up. And we don't decorate the house, but to get that feeling that the holidays are coming, to have my wife tell that part of her story, to have that energy inside my house and that excitement and the happiness, that's what she needs. So I have to do that, right? We have to do it together. And you have to tell someone about it. That's step one. Step two, you gotta think about, you gotta find other people that have like interests. I love the holidays, and being able to do this action helps reinforce that, not just for me, but for the culture that we fulfill inside our home. And for me, Christmas aside, like I take real estate for an example, where I talk about it to Monique a lot, like probably too much. And I speak into the world, and at a certain point, I gotta go find other people that are interested in it, whether she's interested or not. And if she's not, I mean, I'm a part of one association, but luckily last week I actually found another association that's focused just on multifamily, which is pretty cool because I found other like people that are close to me that are interested in the same thing. So that's the second thing you have to do. You have to put yourself in that situation to be able to take the next step inside your story. And I'm telling you, I've read enough and listened to enough and everything else where if I don't do step number 2, then I definitely won't do step number 3 of actually taking the action to go out, spend some time and actually work towards whatever that is for me. And for me, if it's multifamily real estate, then I probably gotta go visit some properties. So that's what I'm gonna do next Saturday. I've already talked about it, I've taken next steps, and now I gotta go do something about it. Because do your actions actually reinforce what you're trying to do inside your story? Are you in one genre now and you're writing another? Because that's not going to reinforce it, right? If you're living one way and you want to accomplish something that's completely outside of that, then those things are not aligned. And you're going to have to figure out, like, hey, your ambitions, anything that has gone unaddressed is going to stay unfinished. We are all unfinished people with unfinished stories. So how do you want this story to end? More importantly, how do you want the next page to be written? And when you think about, do you care? You have to be able to reinforce it so blatantly that it's never in question. There was never any question if I was going to put this Christmas tree up. None at all. Because that is what we needed to do to be able to create that part of our story. And I'm proud of that story. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of unwritten pages inside that story. And Monique's unfinished, you're unfinished, I'm unfinished. And I'm really curious and really excited on what this unfinished story holds for all of us. But I'll tell you, hopefully you feel the same way. But that story needs to be written the way you want it to be written. And you control what happens. The pen is in your hand. But I'll tell you, those three things, you got to speak it into the world. You got to go find others with interests that are the same as yours that help you take you to the next level. And you got to commit to a time and a date. Do it this week. I'm going to visit real estate this Saturday. So whatever that is for you, commit to it. Unfinished people with an unfinished story. Don't let it end. Don't let it end without you doing exactly what you want to do. So commit, be excited. If your head wasn't right this morning, figure out what you need to do to get it right. Maybe this was the message, maybe it wasn't. Maybe you need to go listen to something else, maybe you need to go write something down, or maybe you need to go speak it into the world, like I said, and take step number one. But one of those things has to happen. So go do it. Take care, guys.